Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, just in reply to our previous speaker, a good 48 to 50% of New Zealanders think that the economic record of this government is pretty good. And, sir, if I'd like to come now to the bill... Point
of order, Dr David Clark.
Point of order, Mr Speaker. Surely the member's time is nearly up.
Now, that's a debatable point, but I'm going to give it to Jonathan Young.
Sir, did you say that was a debatable point? Mr Speaker, coming to the Companies Limited Partnerships Amendment Bill, sir, a bill that went through a very thorough select committee process and received a tremendous amount of comment and interaction, particularly from directors in the country. This bill will strengthen the rules that apply to the governance, registration and reconstruction of companies, and it also adds criminalisation of serious breaches of certain directors' duties. And we know that getting the balance right is very important because this country does have a good reputation of ease of doing business, but sometimes that ease of doing business lets people through who do dishonest business and can tarnish this country's reputation. So getting the balance right is important. Many submitters raise concerns about the bill having a chilling effect on legitimate business risk-taking. And this was something that the Select Committee paid particular attention to from both sides of the House. Because one thing that we do want to see, we want to see the entrepreneurial aspects of business encouraged, and at the same time we want to not see law-breaking take place which puts New Zealand incomes at unnecessary jeopardy, and also we want to see our country safe from the antagonism and attacks from overseas that happen on occasion. We know, sir, that in Mr Brian Gaynor's New Zealand Herald column on anti-money laundering, he said in 2010 the Financial Intelligence Unit of the New Zealand Police estimated that about 1.5 billion was laundered through the country every year. That's a huge amount. It shocked me to read of that amount, and so we know that definitely we needed to see some strengthening and some protections around this sort of behaviour. For example, a man called Geoffrey Taylor, a Queensland resident, registered over 1,000 New Zealand shell companies, many through Vanuatu. In December 2009, one of these companies, SP Trading, leased a plane that was caught transporting 35 tonnes of weapons and explosives from North Korea to Iran, based out of here in New Zealand. We would be horrified to think this sort of activity takes place through the shell companies set up here in this country. And so what this bill is to do is to clamp down on that and bring certain controls in order to protect New Zealand. Mr Speaker, as I said, it's important to find the appropriate balance. One of the areas that the committee worked on was this area of registration, because this bill brings together three strands of policy to strengthen the rules applying to registration as well as governance and the reconstruction of companies. And so when it comes to registration, we require that a resident director require a director who lives in New Zealand to ensure that they are identifiable with a substantive connection with the company, who can be questioned about the activities of the company, who can in certain circumstances be held to account. The option of appointing an agent who lives in New Zealand was intended to provide an alternative with lower compliance costs for overseas-based New Zealand companies, but we considered that such agents would be of limited help to enforcement agencies, and in many cases would not be accountable for the actions of the company. So the committee recommended that the requirements for an agent living in New Zealand be omitted, and that a New Zealand-based director or a director that lives in Australia be the requirement, as we consider that resident agents risk becoming also criminally liable for actions of the company or its directors over which the agent had little or no control. So working through some of these issues and trying to find the place where these pieces of legislation would work was something that the committee did. Mr Speaker, there 4,200 registered companies out of a large total of over 500,000 who do not already have a compliant director. And of these, 1,200 were deemed high risk by the registrar. And so this bill will come into enactment, and what we'll see is that there will be a small group of high-risk companies that the registrar, who I understand already is working in these particular areas, will bring compliance to. And that will be a good thing, sir, as we see this bill come to pass and bring some certainty and some protection to our companies, and also bring accountability to directors. Thank you, sir.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, here we are in the